Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Vibrant Life Society podcast, the Vibrant Life podcast. We have the Vibrant Life Society app.
It's really hard to not throw that society
It
in.
is.
The last one we recorded, I was very proud of myself because I didn't do it. And that was probably like the first time I've never done that.
I love.
And then to do it.
And then I do it. Yes. So this is the Vibrant Life podcast. We have the Vibrant Life Society app, which is our community. There is a free section. There is a VIP section. In the free section, you can be part of all of our conversations and the community happening. It is a safe, accepting, private community. So come and join us there. We also have some free resources that you can take advantage of to start your journey to creating an authentic life. In the VIP section, we go more in depth. So we've got all kinds of courses and meditations. One of those courses is the Align and Thrive goal setting workshop, which we are going to kind of touch on today because we're talking about goal setting. So now that it is spring, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything towards my January goals, or my January goals don't feel aligned anymore. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why those goals might have failed if you didn't set them with us, and how to fix that, and how to make sure your goals in the future are aligned with where you're going. So that's what we're doing today. I'm trying to pull one of these cards. So
she is using the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine card.
It's so funny. This was my very first deck that I bought, and we went with a group of friends to get a picture of our auras taken.
Oh, it was that day.
And
I was there.
And yes, Audrey was there, and we went to a shop, and it was the cutest little shop, but I was still very much like, these girls are freaking weird, right? I was like, I don't know about this. And so, but anyway, I saw this in the shop, and I was like, oh, interesting. And I had just started going to Fonda, and she was like, you need to get in touch with your divine feminine. Oh. She was like, you are completely cut off from your feminine side. You have been in the masculine for 12 years trying to get through your relationship and your job as a PM. Like, you are just fully in your masculine, and you need to get in touch with your divine feminine. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. And so then we went to that aura thing, and that was super fun. That was like one of the first times we hung out. That wasn't like at Jazz's house. Yeah. And then I saw this, and I didn't buy it then. And then I kept thinking about it.
Oh.
I kept thinking about it. And so like 2 weeks later, I went back and bought it, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening.
Had a little intuitive fit on that. And so masculine, there's a yin and a yang for everything. So masculine is a very doing, go, go, go energy. Right now, our society is in a patriarchy. So it's very male dominated. Men are in charge. And then the matriarchy is feminine led. And this is the direction we need to head to balance out the masculine and feminine energy.
Right. And we don't want to eclipse it.
No.
We want balance.
We want balance. But we're going to have to rise for a little bit to bring the masculine energy that's so high back down. And then the other thing with that is feminine energy is receiving energy. So,
which is the card we got.
No!
So anyway, where I was going with this was, so I didn't work with this very much because it was still kind of weird for me. But so anyway, this isn't like my go-to deck. But then this morning I was like, oh, we should pull from the Divine Feminine deck. Like, I'm just feeling that. And then Audrey came over, and she picked out what deck we were going to do, and she picked out the Divine Feminine deck.
I did. I brought it over before she even mentioned it. I was like, this is the deck.
I was like, I'm going to pull it. And then I was like, where's the Divine Feminine one? She's like, I already have it. So anyway, just in sync, little backstory there. Okay, so the cards we got were Harmony and Receiving. So we are going to talk about receiving and tapping into your feminine, because while goals and things and making plans is very masculine, the way that we set them tap into the feminine. So we are receiving, and we are going to make sure that your goals are in harmony with where you want to go.
I love that alignment.
Yes. So making sure they are in alignment. So let's talk about intuitive goal setting and how to kind of reset and bounce back if you are not seeing the progress that you want to see. So you're probably listening to this, in April? In March?
I think in March.
Okay, so in March. So I prefer to do 90-day goals. So if you're listening to this, this is the perfect time, because we probably have a free goal setting session going on. Go look on our socials. And I know we have one going on in the VIP section of the Vibrant Life Society. So if you don't get that free one, come in, get the membership. You can do it on demand. So let's talk about goal setting and why it doesn't always work in the traditional sense. So a lot of times we base our goals on what we feel we should do, right?
What should you do?
We look around and we say, what are our peers doing? What does the world tell me? What benchmark does the world tell me I should be at? Oh, I should have this much in my retirement account. Oh, I should be this far up in my career. Oh, I should have a house by now. I should have, whatever those benchmarks are.
I should be married. I should have kids.
I should be married.
I should go back to school because, just being what I am now isn't good enough.
I'm not hitting these whatever arbitrary benchmarks that the world has told us that we're supposed to be hitting.
Yes.
And so we're like, oh, I should make a goal around that.
Yep.
Let me do that. And then we either work towards it and we don't feel any fulfillment around it, or we fall off very quickly. So the other piece here is a lot of times when we're setting goals that way, we completely ignore where our energy is at.
Yes.
So where we're at. So if we are already in a stage of burnout, we should not be setting these very lofty career goals that are going to require us to put in all this extra time and energy, right? But that is not part of the goal setting conversation en masse, right? Like that is not something I feel like we talk about all the time. And the other thing is, a lot of times when you set goals, when you make this plan, it requires you to depend a lot on willpower instead of thinking about how to embody this person that you're going to be. So we're going to talk about flipping all of that.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, I am a project manager. I love creating plans. I love creating goals. This is how I run my life. I did this before I became a project manager, and I was like, you mean I can get paid to do this? And I think a lot of it stemmed out of my ADHD because I was like, I want to feel like I'm in control. And so I spent a lot of time learning about management systems and how to create goals and all this stuff. And then I would be frustrated because I was setting goals, but they weren't working, right? I would peter out after a little bit, or I would reach the goal and it felt hollow because I was like, I don't care about this really. Like I did all this work and then I'm here and this isn't the thing that I was searching for, right? And so
I think that's a lot of what we think goals are. When I reach this goal, then I will be happy.
Yes.
We're looking for fulfillment. We're looking for purpose. And when we're reaching for that, but not truly knowing what that thing is, then we're never going to get there. We're just going to keep deciding what next thing will bring us happiness and fulfillment. And then we're going to keep not making the bar because we're not stopping and we're not looking within ourselves and figuring out what that thing actually is.
Yes. So this actually kind of goes along with this story. Several years ago, I was like, okay, this isn't working. And I was on this journey to get in touch with my divine feminine. And I was like, what if I flip this? What if I set goals based on where my energy is? What if I start with an energy check-in and then I set goals that are in alignment with that? And so that led me to create the seasons method. So the way that we set goals within the Vibrant Life Society is we decide what season we're in. So just like the world has seasons, we live in Iowa. We have the 4 seasons of the year. So nature is not doing the same thing all the time, right? And so we shouldn't be in this hustle mode all the time. That leads to burnout, which is exactly what happened to me, right? I spent all these years pushing, living in my masculine, and then I was completely burnt out. And I looked around and I had the things that I was told that I was supposed to have, right? Like I had just built a house and I was married and I had a kid and I, had a job and I was doing all the things, all the things. And this was like the girl boss era, right? And so I was trying to start a side hustle and I was trying to do all the things and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. And so I said, well, wait, like my life is falling apart And you can do this without having your life blow up. Like, let me just clarify. Step one is not to blow up your entire life. That is not what we're advocating for. But
sometimes your life is blowing up and you're like, what do I do now?
Right.
So you might be in that spot.
And so my life was blowing up. And so I was like, okay, I have less, I'm running on like 45 minutes of sleep a night. I'm trying to keep everything together. So my goals need to be different. Right. And so then I checked in with myself and I said, okay, my energy is next to nothing. My goal is going to be self-exploration. And that was a game changer. Like, that was a game changer. And then I was like, okay, now that I have focused on like just taking care of myself and trying to reset my nervous system and get out of burnout, now I want to figure out, who am I? Like, who am I in this new phase of life, right? And so then I realized I needed to set goals around reinvention, right? And then I was like, okay, so I have taken care of myself a little bit and I've learned a little bit more about what actually makes me excited. And so now I'm in like kind of a higher energy season, right? And so now I can set some of those traditionally like in the masculine energy goals. Like I can go out and I can do the things and I feel like I've got the oomph because I've refilled, right? I've planted those seeds and so I've refilled. And then I can go and I can be in hustle mode, but you can't stay in hustle mode forever. No. That again, you're going to go back into that same cycle. And so then I got to a point where I was like, okay, now I just want to celebrate all the things, right? Like maybe you have a lot of vacations going on. Maybe you have just a summer season full of, kid activities and you just want to be present in those. Like, and so that's just a season of rejoicing and being present. So throughout all of that, it came with my 4 seasons. So what they are is a resetting season. Think of this as your winter. So if you're like in a space where you like in winter, you just want to like, kind of curl up with a good book and some tea and a fire and just be cozy, right? This is a time for slowing down, setting foundations, doing some deep inner work, right? Like the world does this during winter. It hibernates, it resets. A lot of the animals go away. And so this is your season of resetting. A lot of times that is followed by a season of reinvention. So this is your spring. This is when you're planting seeds and things are starting to grow and you are trying new. This is the season of new, right? So you're trying out that pottery class that you've been wanting to take, or you're going to dabble in this business idea that you have and kind of see if that is maybe what you want to do, or you're going to join Vibrant Life Society and try that, or you're going to go out with a mom's group. And it's just this season of reinvention, right? And then we go into a season of revitalization. So this is summer. This is high energy. We are growing. Like if you think about, we live in an ag state. So like the corn is growing super fast. Like things are happening, right? It is big action. It is expansion. It is doing things. So that would kind of reflect that summer energy. And then we have a season of rejoicing, which is fall, which is to take a step back and just be present in the moment and to celebrate and to be in gratitude and then reflect on what you've done and what you want to do in the future for your resetting season. So they do kind of flow into each other. I will say you don't have to do them in this order and you don't have to start with a season of resetting. And you can also do like 2 seasons in a row. So when you set the goals then that are in alignment with the energy of kind of where you're at right now or what season of life that you're in, your goals will be in alignment with that. And then when we get down to the actions also flow. So then you're just in this state of flow. You're not constantly striving and pushing through. And then when you get to the goals, you're like, oh, that actually feels invigorating. That actually feels fulfilling, right? So I know this type of goal setting has been new to you. Yes. Audrey was not a goal girl before. No. And so we have tried this. So as someone who's newer to this, not the one that like created this over several years.
Okay, so I did all the shoulds, right? My life was all about should. What should I do next? I should do this. I should do this. I should do this. I'm trying to raise my career. And then the pandemic happened and there was burnout. And I was like, okay, none of this is working. Why are we here? That is when I really started to look inside myself and try to figure out who I was and what my actual purpose was. Through that, getting to know myself better, realizing what lights me up was helping other people heal, because I'm a nurse is my day trade, but it's really not necessarily about the nursing. It's about the helping other people heal and grow. And as I got going in that, I started tapping into my intuition and realizing that there was this whole thing, divine feminine energy. So I was at first climbing what I thought was corporate nursing jobs. Like I was wanting to do supervising and charge nursing and moving up that way, and then realized that that wasn't in alignment with me. I did not have a single bone in my body that wanted to actually do that. And so taking a step back and just finding that purpose is what led me to Cassie. And so once we got together, and then I was like, I really want to teach, like badly. I want to teach people about what I've learned in the last few years, and I want to help others grow and figure out how to be present in their lives. And so it started with you talking about this method and me being like, oh, I'm already doing that. I just didn't have names for it exactly. Right. But I have to say, now that I know names, like we were in survival mode, I was like, oh, we're taking a resetting moment in the middle of this season where we were like ready to go.
Yeah.
So I'm tapping into my energy more, and knowing like this week has definitely been like a spring season for me. Trying to figure out what exactly is coming next. I'm planning a meditation course, and we're getting ready to go on vacation. And I'm even like, ooh, I'm going to be in the mountains in Tennessee, and what an amazing backdrop that will be for a meditation course. And we're getting ready to move. So we're totally, what is our new house going to look like? We're dreaming about reinventing what our daily lives are going to look and flow like. And so while at first I was like, oh, I don't set goals. Also, when we were talking about being entrepreneurs, I was like, I'm not an entrepreneur. You can teach about that all you want. And we were like, I don't know how far into it. And I was like, oh shit, I'm an entrepreneur too. Like we're creating a business. We're doing the thing.
And I was like, welcome.
You're like, here
to the program.
Right? And so now
like, yes, you are.
Hello, here's your sign. So knowing the seasons, I think, just helps me when I'm trying to identify what things I want to do next. So I can definitely tell when I need a break now, and I give myself that grace and space to take that break. I think that's the most important thing to avoid burnout, because I didn't know how to avoid burnout before, and I spent the majority of my life probably in burnout.
Yes.
So I think I'm way more productive now than I've ever been, because number one, I know what lights me up and I follow that. Right. And intuitively, if we're doing something that's not lighting me up, then I'm going to stop and I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to see if we need to go in a new direction, or if like what tweaks do we need to do, or do we need to leave it all together and start something else?
Yeah.
So I think those things are super important.
Yeah. And I think you brought up a good point of like, so when we were doing our January goal setting, we both said, okay, we're in a season of revitalization. Yeah. Well, you can have kind of smaller chunks. That doesn't mean go at 100% all the time. Like we both have dealt with sickness in this season. We both have dealt with, just different things. But then the overarching season is still, we've gotten a lot done. We did really a lot of planning. Yeah. We did a lot of courses. Like we were like, okay, I'm giving myself, because we have all these tools, we're practicing what we preach in Vibrant Life. And it was like, I'm sick. I'm going to take care of my body and step back, and I'm not going to push through like I would have in the past. Right. But that doesn't negate the season of revitalization that we're in. And we're still hitting the goals that we set, because they are in alignment. And so when we are in a space to work on them and like have the energy to work on them and like the health to work on them, it's so easy to work on them.
So much easier.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, you're not pushing yourself to do a should goal. You're like, oh, I get to work on this goal.
Yes.
I get to work on this.
It's so much more fun when you're in alignment.
Right.
When it's something that gives you purpose, then it is fun and exciting.
Right. And what I love about doing a 90-day goal is, and having like the 4 seasons throughout the year, is you're switching your focus, right? So we're not in hustle mode. So even those times where it was like, I don't have the energy, or like, I'm not sure, or you're losing momentum and motivation, you can more easily get back into it, because one, we set up systems around that to help you do that. But then also you're like, but I'm not working to this, like the end date isn't so far out, right? You're like, oh, I want to get this done by this time. So then I can move on to the next thing. And maybe that is a season of resetting right after a season of revitalization. And maybe that is a season of reinvention. So for you, like going back to the example of like, they don't need to go in order. In January, Audrey and I were going into a season of revitalization for our business. But personally, you're going to go into a season of reinvention here in the spring.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what season I'm going to go in. I got to go check in with myself.
Well,
I got to go do that because it's time to reset. And so you don't have to go in a certain order, but a lot of times you will see that they go in flow.
And
right?
I do find myself flowing more astrologically as far as
you
like
are more in touch with that.
I'm more in touch with nature and how and I'm a nature girl. That's like I'm an air sign, like, so I don't know, easy breezy. So I just feel like I do flow. Like I've been hibernating. Like the bears. I hibernate like the bears. I felt really tired. It's dark outside. I'm going to go to bed. And then just this week, I can just feel the seasons changing. And I've had so much energy. And I was sick for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Same.
So to get past that too, I think finally I've got more energy and I'm like, okay, what other goals can I slay? And it feels more exciting to think about what's coming.
Yeah. So if you're like, okay, where do I get started? First, just assess where your energy's at. And then if you're switching from like the traditional way of setting goals to this more energy-based way of setting goals, we have to shift our mindset around that, because that's where the lasting change happens. So you need to shift your mindset from I should do it this way to I'm allowed to pursue goals that feel good. I'm allowed to pursue goals that feel good to me, right? And that might be, I don't know, doing something completely different. Yeah. Audrey went from a corporate track to pursuing like Reiki, and that's okay. Yeah. Right? Like we go off on these tangents, and that's part of life. That's where you start learning your authentic self. And then also another mantra that I have used is I don't have to be in go mode all the time. Mm-hmm. Rest was really, really hard for me for a really long time. Yeah. That was not part of our family culture. That was not part of my mindset, right? Especially I think as a neurodivergent person, you're used to masking all the time and just pushing through. And so to take off that and be like, I'm allowed to rest and set goals around that. So it's like I'm forcing myself to rest, right? Like I started out in my season of resetting of like, I am going to, read one book a week. And I read more than that. I was gonna say one. But like at the time, I was like, I'm going to read one book a week without guilt. Yeah. And like I let myself do that. And then it was, I'm going to take one nap on the weekend. Like, and this was when my daughter was like really little when I was first starting that, but I'll still do that. Like I'm going to, if I'm in a season of self-care where I'm like kind of letting myself release the go mode that is my natural tendency, then I will set goals around that of like, I want to do X amount of yoga classes, or I want to, do a staycation somewhere, like just things like that where you can reset. And then you still create action plans around it. So we still do the whole goal setting mode, but we're starting from a different place. We're starting from a place of energy instead of a place of outside influence. Yeah. So you're internalizing it instead of outside, and then you still create like here's the milestones that I want to hit, and here's the tasks that I need to do, and here's the habits and the rituals that will help me embody the person that I need to be to actually achieve these goals. And that is how you create the strategy without the overwhelm that comes from when you're trying to match an outside exertion. Yeah.
Well, I think I take definitely like a manifestation approach to these things and get a little witchy with it with my moon rituals as far as what goals I want to do. because I dream about what I want things to feel like and what direction I want to head. And so right now, when I think about Vibrant Life, it's changed over time, right? Because at first we were like, this is going to be an online thing only. And as the years gone on, we're like, oh no, this isn't. We've hosted those book retreats. Like this is an in-person space. So now I'm dreaming about this place in Des Moines where people can come together, where there's a place for kids to play and there's a place to go buy your coffee and there's a library, and we're going to talk about books, and we're going to have book club, and we're going to have meditation circles, and we're going to offer yoga. And I just think about this community of women, this divine feminine energy coming together, and what do I want that to look like? And so when I manifest this with the moon, this is my goal setting is definitely more woo-woo. I'm using all of these methods, but I'm adding all this spirituality behind it. And so then I'm thinking about, okay, well, what action step do I need to take next, right?
Yeah.
So we're building one thing upon another. We're showing the universe that this is what we want. This is what we're building. This is this big dream. And then the universe is going to meet us halfway with that too.
Yeah.
Because we're taking those
you take inspired
action towards what we want.
Yes.
And so that is the whole purpose behind this goal setting method, is that we're getting in touch with our inner self. We're checking in to see what we really want, and that's the beauty of this life, is the more you awaken, you realize what kind of creator you are, and you can create anything you want, that the possibilities are endless. And when you find that fire that gives you drive and passion to do it.
Yes. Preach.
There's my inspired action. I was like listening. I was like, yeah, now I'm ready to talk.
I love it. Love it. So yes, that is our intuitive way of goal setting. So check in with yourself. That's going to lead you to the inspired action that you're going to take. So choosing your season, setting your mindset around that, and then creating your inspired strategy plan. Yeah. It's kind of this mix. It's the balance that we talked about at the very beginning between the masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And you can make it your own, and there's no rules with it, which is what I like. You can do whatever season you want. It's all about having it be, inspired instead of outside exerted force.
Yep.
And if you want to dive deeper into that, there's all kinds of courses and resources in the Vibrant Life Society where we talk about that. And we're going to go more into it in Life Redesigned as well. This is actually a really great time of year to do Life Redesigned, because we are in spring, which is a season of planting seeds. And if you're going by it's a season of reinvention. So we are redesigning with intention your life step by step. So if you do want that more like hand holding, how do I do this? Give me the next step. I don't want to have to think about it.
We got you.
We got you.
We got you.
We got you.
Yep, we do.
So, okay.
Love it.
I feel like that's it. So go join the free version, join our membership. We've got all kinds of resources. Make sure you're following us. Share this with someone. It's always more fun to set goals with a friend. So Absolutely. Share it with a friend that you want to do Life Redesigned with.
A goal buddy.
A goal buddy. Okay. See you guys next time. Exciting news. The Vibrant Life Society is now open, and we'd love for you to join our incredible community of empowered women. Sign up through the link in the show notes to start creating your most vibrant, joy-filled life today. And thank you for tuning in to our Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.